Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yo, I hope the Lord is good to you. Y'all ready for a new day? It's Wednesday. It's hump day. We almost through the week. Yo, welcome to Good News Today, where we come on just for a little bit just to encourage you and let you know everything is going to be okay. Come on. Tell a friend. Come on in. Do it again. Say no to sin. Yeah.
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever will believe in him shall not perish but have everlasting life.
Yo, turn my mic up. Y'all ain't see this coming.
Get ready to catch this. Come to snatch your righteous mind, not your edges. God is the goal, and then there's the period. This thing is real. Woo-cha, we serious, intentional, original. God is in control. Do it for your soul. Gotta let the whole world know. Ayo, ayo.
Yo, put it in the comments. Somebody say everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. Tell somebody. Everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. Hope you're encouraged today. I hope you're encouraged making it through the week. Did you get in the Word today? Did you take some time to study God's Word? I'm telling you, if you get in there four times a week, it will make a difference. It will make a difference in your life. We're studying the book of 1 Corinthians. So if you're a fellowship, every week we're studying and going in a deep dive in the book of 1 Corinthians. We'll be studying that book for the most part of 2025. So join us in our study in 1 Corinthians. This week we talk about division. Last week, it was an affirmation. It was encouragement. The Church of Corinth, you're doing well. Well, not that you're doing well, but he says you've been sanctified. You've been set aside. Your gifts, your purpose. God is going to hold you firm. He's going to preserve you and protect you all the way to the end. He's invited you into fellowship with Jesus Christ. Like, so this affirming, beautiful thing. And then he says, but I hear there's a little drama popping off. I hear y'all got some issues up in there. I hear y'all got some struggles. And I just kind of want to talk today about division and how humans be humaning and people be peopling. And what do you do when people be peopling? Like what causes, I love to hear from y'all, for those of you that can get into the comments, from your experience, what are some of the primary culprits for division? What are some of the primary culprits, for division? Put it in the comments if you got a comment section, if you're able to contribute that way. I just love to hear from y'all. What have you seen that causes division? What causes division? What are the culprits? Fear. That's a good one. Just ignorance, just not knowing. That's good. Politics. Yeah, politics. Pride, just ego. Yeah. No, that's good. Not willing to see it. Hey, check this out. How about this? These are good. I love these. Keep these coming in. Jealousy, racism, politics, hate, being unaware. Lack of communication is a big one. Lack of communication, ego. How about this question? How about this? Y'all keep putting that in there, but in times of division, when you've seen division happen and show up, what has been your most consistent contribution to division in your life? You see what I did there? When you think about divisions that's happened, what has been your contribution? Like when you look back and it's like, man, that's what I contributed. That's what I brought that. What have you brought to the division that you've experienced in your life? What has been your contribution? Comprehension and no empathy. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. What has been your contribution? See, because the thing is, we talk about division, but we always talk about it from the perspective of what happened to us. But I want to kind of normalize us practicing owning our contribution to the division that was caused. Up until this point, I probably added to the division, but this year I'm trying to come at division as Jesus would be loving my neighbor. Yeah. When I don't listen and really hear. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Edge God out. That's ego. EGO. Stop communicating. So you just shut down. Wanting to be heard, taking offense, being offended. Yep. Yo, if you mess around, once you get offended, it's so hard for you to hear anything else. So if you get offended early, which I have a tendency to do, once I get offended, once I get in my feelings, oh, it's a wrap. Not accepting the correction as an act of love. Right, Letty, because you feel like it's an act of war. You feel like this correction is an act of war. You trying to kill me. You trying to hurt me. Anybody ever feel that way? Not confronting the person, ignoring them, being passive aggressive. Yes, come on. Let's own it today. Come on. Let's own it. That's so good. Not confronting the person, not saying nothing, ignoring them, and then being passive aggressive. That's the low key part for me. If you're going to ignore me, but don't ignore me and then be passive aggressive with me, because now you're not ignoring me. You actually being passive aggressive with me. But Letty, I feel that is not correction. That is an act of war. You just cut me. You trying to hurt me. Bypassing relationship and going straight to resolution. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Prejudice. Expecting the other to do as I would. Yeah, like, so you just reenacting saying, now this is what I would have done, so why didn't they just do that? So we just impute our experience on them and expect them to behave as we would behave. I brought my side to the table and spoke from the heart and then shut it down and zipped my lip and allowed them to speak. That's what you did. Okay. Betrayal. Prejudice. So what did you contribute to the division? What did you contribute to the division? What did you contribute? I try to sit in empathy as much as I can, but I realize my bandwidth for empathy, it has to be cultivated and developed. I have my experience, and here's the dichotomy. Here's the interesting thing when you're dealing with division and dynamics with people and stuff like that. You really do have your own experience, which is worthy to be legitimate and validated. You have how you feel, but how you feel isn't necessarily the whole truth. So your feelings are real, but your feelings may not necessarily be true. Did y'all hear what I just said? I said your feelings are real, but they may not necessarily be true. So those are like two different things. So in both have to be respected and validated, and your feelings not necessarily being the whole complete truth isn't necessarily then an invalidating of your doesn't invalidate your feelings. Your feelings are very real and they get to be honored, but you bring it's so interesting. This is where ego and pride has to come in, and you have to make room for a story beyond your experience. So you got to make room that there is another reality that's beyond your experience. So that is what you experienced, and that was real. Is there any room for there to be any more truth than what you feel your truth is? Do you understand what I'm saying? Is there, or is that the only way? Is that the only, this person hated you and they wanted the death of you, and that's why they did that. Okay, and that's your experience, and that's your first take of understanding. Is there any room for there to be any more to the story? Or is that the whole story? Period. Exclusively. Period, point blank. Is there any room for their experience to have led them to behave and show up in a way that goes beyond your story and your experience that might breed a greater narrative to what's actually going on? Okay, so cousin said, my therapist told me once I get in my feelings, I'm responding to past trauma. Stay in the moment and respond to what's actually happening right now. It can only be what I took offense to. I need to know what and why the other side, what and why the other side thinks. I'll extend the olive branch once. You have to communicate 3 sides to the truth. Yeah. Yeah. So you got to leave room. And I think one of the biggest challenges is just, I just don't leave room. Once I feel like you have tried to attack me and come at me, I lock every door. I remove all commas, all question marks. And I remove all commas, all question marks, and it's only periods and exclamation points. Exclamation marks. That's all it is. It's periods and exclamations. Period. On period. On period. So we start shutting down sentences. No, that's what you did. That's what I felt. And that's it. That's all. You know what I'm saying? And ain't nothing you can say or do to explain your way out of that, because what I feel is truth. And what you have to consider when dealing with division is maybe there was more to it. You got to leave room for more. I completely remove myself. Also, you won't see me or you won't hear from me. I tend to build a wall around myself. And the thing is, and I get that you protect yourself, but the problem is you're going to end up and you're going to be in another relationship, another situation, and the same thing will happen again. And then you'll just build another wall, build another fortress, protect yourself, and leave. And you will look back over your life and see the carnage of broken friendships and relationships that you have built fortresses and moved on, and you've missed opportunities to grow. Now, all relationships aren't restored to the place where we're hanging out getting coffee again. I do believe there is a season and there is a time up on relationships. However, I just don't think we should move confidently on to the next one and not at least acknowledge your contribution to what happened to that one. Can I say that again? Be careful before you move on to the next one without at least acknowledging your contribution to what happened with that one. Because let me tell you something, you contributed something. And you just want to know what that is. You want to know what that is. And this is a real conversation with me and my coach. I said, okay, as long as, listen to this, listen to how petty I am. I was like, okay, as long as me acknowledging my contribution doesn't take away one iota from them being a jerk and them being wrong, I'm good. As long as this doesn't lighten the load of their accountability, I'm good. Because I'm still Petty Eddie. Call me Petty Eddie. Call me Eddie, because I'm petty. Call me Eddie, because I'm petty. So I was like, I own my stuff as long as they can still be a jerk. Are they still a jerk? Okay, all right. Well, I can own that I contributed to such and such. Call me Petty Eddie. Okay, I'm the only one that's petty. I'm the only one. Okay, all right. I'll be the only one that's petty. I'll be the only one petty today. But I like that. Call me Petty Eddie, son. But the Lord just said, hey, number one, own your contribution. Own your contribution. Recognize recognize your own, how your ability to get offended so easily, and once you get offended, it's so hard to hear anything else. So a lot of times you can't even hear a lot of things. Yeah, I like that. You're right, Diana. I read that too. Brene Brown would say, "What false story am I telling myself?" It allowed her to step back to get a better view of the situation. She'd also just tell the person, she'd say, "Okay, so when you say that, the story that I'm telling myself is he doesn't like me, or the story I'm telling myself is she doesn't, you just don't want to be here, but you don't want to tell me that." Because a lot of times, y'all, if we're honest, we're hearing stuff that no one has ever said. Like seriously, you can forgive, but not necessarily have to be back to that relationship of any kind. Yeah. Sometimes you are hearing stuff that it's like, yeah, ain't nobody said that. Did nobody say that? You hearing trauma from your past. You're hearing the insecurity. You're hearing something through a lens that you feel some kind of way that you never said out loud. So you're speaking from a place that I'm not even privy of. Sometimes you just hear stuff that nobody even said. So sometimes you just got to out yourself and say, okay, here's the story I'm telling myself. Because that inner dialogue sometimes can talk you out of inner peace in a relationship. That inner dialogue could talk you out of an inner peace in a relationship. You can talk yourself out of peace. You can talk yourself out of reconciliation and oneness, because they're saying this, but you're like, yeah, I don't believe you, so I'm not even going to tell you I don't believe you. I'm just going to say, oh, okay, all right, yeah. But in my head, I'm thinking, I don't believe a word you're saying, because I don't think this, because I got all these other receipts that I don't feel like bringing up. So you holding all this stuff, and you ain't going to never get free that way. Like, even if the relationship doesn't survive the truth, at least you get free and you survive the truth. Like, at least get free and just tell the truth about how you feel. Tell the truth about what's going on. And if they can't meet and respond to that and meet that, then yeah. And you just doing the hard work of truth telling will also help you really discover who your real friends are and who your real people are. It'll help you really discover who are the people that are genuinely for you and the people that are there just to get something genuinely from you. Now, I just spoke a word right there. Because there are people in your life that are just there to get stuff from you. And the quicker you can weed that out and narrow that out, the better. The better. It'll just save you time and energy, and you can spend that energy, you can spend that time giving that energy to people that really value you for who you are, not just for what you provide for them. Not just for what you provide for them. There are some people that only show up because you call. I don't know if I told y'all this story, but I think I did. But as we talk about friendships, as we talk about, because we focus in 100 days, I want you to focus on your friendships and your relationships and the division and breakdowns and stuff that's happened in your life. And I've had quite a few over the last 2 years. So I've been owning it. So I start with, watch this. So I start with owning my contribution to the division or the chaos or the breakdown or whatever. You gotta own your stuff. And one of the biggest ones is just honestly not being discerning and in so wanting people to like and love you that you don't look at the red flags that say they are not with you. They are not, well, here it is. Let me say that better. They are with you. They are not for you. They are with you, but they are not for you. And it's not even like they with me. It's like a hater thing. It's like, yeah, no, you are here, but you are here with a lot of your agenda. And when the services that I provide for you shift, our relationships shift, which I've got a lot of relationships like that. You know what I mean? I got a relationship with the lady at McDonald's, but I'm only there at McDonald's to get that quarter pounder. Honey, if you ain't got a quarter pounder and fries and a Coke with light ice, I'm not coming to see you. Our relationship is predicated on me giving you this money and you giving me this hamburger, and that's fine. I don't go to McDonald's, roll my eyes, and be like, she only being nice to me because I'm giving her money. You know, like, no, that is the agreement of the relationship. Previously, now I'm going to a restaurant called Something Healthy, and I'm eating salads and drinking smoothies. And I got a great relationship with them, but it's still predicated on me bringing that money and them giving me that smoothie. The day they stop giving me smoothies is the day I stop seeing them. And I'm sure they gonna be like, see, we out of business now. Don't nobody come see us no more. See, they was up in there talking about some good morning, have a good day, so glad you're here. But now we didn't shut down our business. Don't nobody ever come over here no more. No, because that was the nature of the relationship. What messes you up is when you don't realize that there's an exchange happening, that there's a service you're providing for them, and you think we just own some real friend stuff. You think we own some real good, and you shift in your provision of those services, and they change on you. And you didn't expect that. That's when the devastation comes. Sometimes we don't listen. We assume that there are triggers and downhill. Yeah. So that's what I mean. So for example, I had a homegirl. I'm scared I'm gonna say their real name. So let me come up with a different. Her name was Lisa, and she had a friend for years named Kim. So Lisa, I was on the phone with Lisa. I hadn't talked to Lisa. We hadn't talked for a long time, for probably about a few years. For a few years, we hadn't talked. So we just catching up. So I'm talking to Lisa. We catching up, and I said, "Girl, what is up with Kim? Because Kim, we go back 15, 20 years. We were all friends years and years ago. So I was like, girl, when you talk to Kim, what's going on with Kim?" She's like, "It's crazy. Kim, we actually live in the same city." I said, "What?" She was like, "But we ain't talked in like 2 years." I said, "What?" She said, "Yeah." She's like, "I would call Kim on my way to work every morning." And one day, she said she was about to call her, and something said, "You know what? Don't call today. Don't call today." And Lisa didn't call, and she looked, and she said, "Albert," and I haven't heard from Kim since. That was 2 years ago. So in other words, the relationship was just like if you, and not in a messy way, not because it's so easy for it to become messy, not in a messy way, but in a Holy Spirit discerning way. Who, if you stop calling, they would stop coming? Who, if you stop providing, they would stop pursuing? Who, if they lost the benefit, then you would lose their being? Be careful. You will look around and you'll be surrounded by people that are present for the benefit, which is fine as long as you know that's what it is. You know how the folks say, "You know what it is? You know what it is?" One of the biggest devastating setbacks you can have in relationships is for you to be in a relationship and you not know what it is. Now that was a word. That was good. I'm telling you, one of the things that will take you out. Yo, it almost took me out. To be rocking with somebody and you not know what it is. Because it's a hustle for them. They like they coming up, which you ain't even mad at, because you generous. It's like, hey, everybody come up. Everybody come up. But when the speed at which I had to watch I had the Holy Spirit sit on me so that I can speak in love and grace and not even speak out of I can speak out of pain and disappointment, but I want to be honoring. But I think if I'm honest, the speed at which people will walk away from you when you can no longer provide for them in the way that you once did, the wind from the speed of them walking away could feel like a tsunami. Woo! The speed at which people can shift on you, if that the speed at which they did, the wind that comes from that feels like a tsunami, and it could knock you completely out of the game if you let it. And usually that happens because you didn't know what it you didn't know what it was. You know what it is. I think about Judas and him kissing Jesus. And he was like, you know what it is. I'm doing me. Judas had left the discipleship of Jesus a long time before. Jesus had left the discipleship a long time ago. The confusing part was, and I keep saying this, I got this from Noel Jones, Judas kept coming to the meetings. Be careful. People will leave you, but will still keep coming to the meetings. Anyway, are y'all with me in here? Did y'all see what I'm saying? Does that make sense? So this Sunday in 1 Corinthians, we talk about division, and we talk about what happens in the church when the spirit of division comes in and tries to break up the body and try to break up the people. Yeah. Yeah. Well, these comments are great in here. These comments are great. Dewani said, at least Jesus knew Judas was coming. I didn't know until after the wind hit. And that's the thing. It knocks the wind out of you. It's like, whoa. I thought we was that, but it turns out we're this. And to be honest, and then I'm gonna get out of this. To be honest, understanding that it was never the friendship that you thought it was helps you actually digest and move beyond the betrayal, because you are so betrayed and you're so devastated because you're thinking, how could a friend do that? How could a friend be that unkind? Even if we both had our contribution, but there was a moment where you could have just shown kindness. You could have shown, but instead of choosing kindness, you chose vengeance. And oh man. But it helps you realize, Dr. Henry Clyde Nesser in this shaped my perspective on this as well. Great words, Dr. Tate. Yeah. But it helps you realize that we were never friends like that. So it helps you go back and rewrite history and say, there's no way a friend treats you that way. So you had a misinterpretation and a misunderstanding of the relationship to begin with. And then you can kind of go back and see like, oh, okay. It feels like less betrayal because we really weren't friends. I thought we were, but we actually weren't. And so now I got to do a better job of making sure that I got a clear understanding of what it is, because I didn't know what it was. But now it's like, okay, you know what it is, and let's let it be what it is. Misplaced relationships, I place them in the wrong category. I thought that they were in partner, but turns out they were parasites. Oh, wow. She said I thought they were partners, but they were parasites. Lord have mercy. Seasons come and seasons go. And try to resist the temptation for your resolve to land you in bitterness and hate and anger. So that's the other thing. Assess the relationship, change the narrative, and move on. Yeah. Because if you on some like hater, look at them haters. No, it's like, you know what? The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. I practice that prayer. I practice that prayer, especially for people that I feel like have treated me wrong. I got to get my heart to where my greatest desire is for the Lord to bless them. Because if they're being blessed by God, they're much less likely to be being messy with me. So it's like, Lord, the Lord bless you and keep you. So whenever I think about, you know, how somebody come up in your head and you be like, ugh, I just practice. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Let me just free my spirit of trying to hold them hostage in hate or bitterness. Because I don't want the division. I don't want any of that. And I don't want that on me. So I was like, really in the sweetest way, not cussing them out, not saying F you, but bless you. Lord bless you. Oh, Jesus. Lord, I pray that your will be done in their life, because clearly while they messing around with me, that wasn't your will. So they need to find your will, because the moment they find your will is they getting out of my space, my will, my area. So I pray that, and I pray that you can practice that over your enemies, over the people that have hurt you, the people that have caused division. Just like you want to receive that for the places where you have caused division. See, that keeps the ego and the arrogance down and the rage at a minimum, because we have all contributed to division. We have all contributed. We have all caused it. And if you haven't realized that and taken time to own that, you're probably perpetually causing it, because you hadn't adjusted and shifted your behavior. So the Lord bless you and keep you. So listen, if you ever see me and I'm like, hey, you know, I've been praying for you. I've been praying the Lord bless you and keep you. You know, you was almost on the list, but the Lord brought you off. Come on and hit somebody. Some of y'all need to just go down your list of people and say, hey, the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you. 1 Corinthians, we talking about division this week. We talking about division. We talking about how people be peopling. And we're owning our contribution to division and naming it, and blessing the people that have betrayed us, blessing the people that have caused division. How do we get our heart to just say, the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. I ain't got time to be mad. God has been too good. God has been too faithful. So how do you stay faithful and recognize? It's kind of like they said about it's kind of like they said in the Gospels. It talks about this idea of, hey, if they left me, they were probably never with me. They were probably never with us. I botched it up. It's something like that. So turn the page, move on, but own your contribution, so that you're not perpetually contributing to division in your relationships. Do you get offended easy? Can you call that out? Name that and put that before the Lord. Lord, help me not to be so offensive, not to be so easily offended. Lord, help me not to be so defensive. Help me hear when things are hard to hear. Help me to be a safe place for people to give critical feedback. Help me not get in my feelings so hard to where I can't hear nothing else. You know what I'm saying? Help me to hear what's actually being said and listen through a filter of empathy and vulnerability, and not listen through a filter of trauma and triggers. Lest you look back over your life and see relational carnage where you've just left one relationship after another, and you've just built this fortress that keeps you safe, but also keeps you alone. God wants us to invest in strong relationships this year. And I think one of the places where that starts is us owning our contribution in how we show up in relationships. Forgiving. This is my saying, forgive everybody. Ain't got no room to hold nothing on nobody. Forgive everybody. Love everybody. Look at your haters. Look at all these folks, you know what I mean? And just say, the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you and give you peace. Because if you can have peace, you're less likely to steal my peace for his glory. All right, y'all. I'll see you tomorrow.